Customs nabbed Dubai-based passenger with 5,343 ATM cards in Kano. I wonder what he wants to do with the whole of that. Taking the final headline coming from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Buhari or Shibajo, 12 governors rally support for Akeredolu. Secondus, 7 governors, Onilola, Fayoshe, others for Jegede. I'm confident of winning. That's coming from Ajayi. These are the headlines that we have coming from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Now switching gears to the Punch newspaper, major headline that I have coming from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Bulk of education budget spent on public varsities, 10,500 profs. That's coming from the federal government. And two riders to that headline, education sector can't progress when ASU goes on 6-month strike, says Nwajuba. Nigerian lecturers least paid globally. Federal government not serious about knowledge economy. That's coming from ASU. Still taking headlines from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, I have Lagos, Oyo, Edo protesters reject IG's reform, demand FSAS scrapping. Opposition kicks as 2 reps dump PDP joins APC. Buhari, Lawan, others hail ex-Mint boss appointment as Zazzle Emir. Still taking headlines from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, Senate demands prosecution of killer SARS operatives. Federal government approves $3.02 billion Port Harcourt Maiduguri Rail reconstruction. Labour rejects fresh worker screening ordered by Quara. Emirates resumes Nigerian flights. UAE begins visa insurance. Ex-governor Ohahim charged with fraud, giving false information. $1.5 billion liability. U.S. tribunal frees Nigeria, awards federal government $660,000. Of course, that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper, and still taking headlines from the front page. Buhari presents budget today. Senate reduces president's delegation. And finally, coming from the front page of the Punch newspaper, officials embezzled COVID-19 funds. Workers didn't get palliatives. That's coming from NLC. These are the headlines that we have this morning. We go on a short break, and when I return, I'll take you straight to the details of the headlines. Please stay with us. All right, you welcome back, and this is still News Real and Pensioners 106.7 FM. Starting with political stories this morning, Ondo, Buhari or Shibajo, 12 governors rally support for Akeredolu. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday threw his weight behind the re-election bid of the Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Buhari who stated this during the grand finale of the All Progressive Congress APC governorship campaign rally, said he was impressed with the achievements recorded in the state in the last 4 years, expressing optimism the governor would win come Saturday. The president, in his virtual message from the presidential villa, said, with the development recorded in his first term in office with the available lean resources, Akeredolu had proved to be a good ambassador of the APC. Akeredolu deserves to be re-elected to consolidate the good work he commenced in his first term. I'm not just proud of his achievements, I am confident he will enjoy the mandate of the good people of Ondo State for the second term. Ondo, Buhari, Oshibajo, 12 governors rally support for Akeredolu. Still talking Ondo governorship election this morning. I am confident of winning. That's coming from Ajayi. Ondo State Deputy Governor and candidate of Zenith Labour Party, ZLP, in the governorship election in the state, Honorable Adwola Ajayi, on Wednesday, expressed optimism that he would win the forthcoming governorship election, saying victory is certain. Ajayi, who stated this while speaking during the ZLP rally in Owo local government area of the state, said he has all it takes to defeat all other contestants at the poll. He appealed to the people of the state to come out in their numbers on Saturday, urging them not to panic in exercising their civic responsibility. He described the threat of violence coming from some quarters ahead of the election as an empty one, saying security agencies will be on ground to protect lives and properties of the people. I'm confident of winning. This is coming from the deputy governor of Ondo State. Still talking politics from Ondo State, we'll deal with those planning to disrupt poll. This is coming from the police. Deputy Inspector General of Police, DIG Leye Oyebade, has sounded a note of warning to political thugs planning to disrupt the peace of Saturday's governorship election in Ondo State, that the police will deal with anyone or group of people found culpable. Oyebade, who is the coordinating supervising DIG for election, while speaking to newsmen in Akure, the state capital, on Wednesday, on the preparedness of the police, noted that the police were ready to ensure a peaceful poll on Saturday. We'll deal with those planning to disrupt poll. That's coming from the police. And still in Ondo State at PDP mega rally, Makinde, Wike, Diri, others drum up support for Jegede. The national chairman of People's Democratic Party, PDP, Uche Secondus, has urged the people of Ondo State to vote out the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the forthcoming governorship election in the state, saying the APC had failed Nigerians woefully at all levels. Secondus, who spoke at the grand finale campaign of the party held in Ondo Town, the headquarters of Ondo West local government area of the state, said the PDP mobilized strongly to defeat APC in the October 10 poll. He blamed the APC and its supporters for the recurring violence in the state, adding that Governor Akeredolu and his supporters are jittering of the growing popularity of the PDP candidate, Eyitayo Jegede. Speaking on how to curtail the pockets of crisis threatening Saturday's election, he advised that INEC and security agencies should be allowed to do their duties professionally without any form of interference and intimidation. At PDP mega rally, Makinde, Wike, Diri, others drum up support for Jegede. All right, let me take this final story. Still talking Ondo election come Saturday. Ondo 2020, I won't take it easy with anyone who sponsors violence. The Deji of Akure, Oba Adelusi Alade Toyinbo, on Wednesday warned anyone or group creating political tension or violence in the state ahead of Saturday's governorship election in Ondo State. Oba Alade Toyinbo issued the threat at his palace in Akure, the Ondo State capital, during a meeting with representatives of political parties, various groups, youth leaders, security personnel, and other stakeholders. He appealed to all stakeholders to embrace peace, and he called on political actors to play the game by the rules. I won't take it easy with anyone who sponsors violence. That's coming from the DG of Akure. Now out of the Ondo election stories, Only restructuring can save Nigeria. This is coming from expert. A security expert, Professor Femi Olufumilade, and legal practitioner Dele Farotimi have reverberated calls for restructuring of the country, warning that Nigeria will not remain united should warning that Nigeria will not remain united should secessionists, agitators carry out their threats. In their separate conversations, they describe the renewed agitation for reconsideration of the present restructuring of the country as legitimate and one that should not be taken for granted. With Odua Republic and independent people of Biafra, IPOP agitations, coupled with calls by religious and political leaders, they warned that the nation was on the brink, except the Muhammadu Buhari led administration took seriously the calls for restructuring. Only restructuring can save Nigeria. This is coming from experts. This morning, good to inform you that I have in the house the analysts to talk about some of the stories that I've read out this morning. Good morning, Mr. Williams Eru. Good to have you in the
Thank
house.
you very much. Good morning, IB City. Good morning, Oyo State. Good morning, Nigeria.
All right, this morning, quite a number of stories coming from Ondo State. Buhari or Shibajo giving support for Akeredolu and Ajayi, saying he's confident of winning the Ondo governorship election, as well as the mega rally for the PDP, where we have the governor of Oyo State, Wike, Diri, and others giving support for Jegede. What have you got to say as regards all of this?
Well, it is natural that the PDP governors give support to one of their party member, and also Buhari, Oshimbajo, and the rest also drumming up support for Akeredolu. It is natural because this is a party thing. But as a president, he should emphasize neutrality because we said something about those election and how peaceful relatively it was. Because we said because the president himself somehow did not have a preference, on who emerged as a governor in that state. So I think outside supporting a APC candidate, the president must also exercise a level of neutrality, and that has to do with those that will be monitoring the election, the security agents that will be there on ground to make sure that law and order prevail. So their order should be that of neutrality. That is how we will be able to balance, in the election. So the president, yes, he has the right to support the APC candidate, but he has a bigger responsibility to make sure that the election is neutral, it is free, it is fair, that the people's will on that day, is what takes the day. And we can the rest as well. Let them support their party member. But last week the president released some billions to some of these states that somehow they said as constructed federal roads. And people were saying, this is the same thing that happened during the Ekiti election. That at the eve of the election, you released this sum of money, and we know that most of these monies would probably go for the election purposes. So why not wait after the election? But then, I think by and large, we are beginning to see a kind of a shift towards the preference of the president. I believe and I hope that, as a president, your action has to be presidential. So I hope and I pray that it's a level playing field on that day.
All right, now let's go to the police saying that they're giving us assurance. How much of trust should we have in them saying that they'll deal with all of those who are planning to disrupt the pool? As we know that we've been hearing stories of disruptions here, this and that, violence here and there in Ondo State currently before the election. How much of confidence should we have in the Nigerian police?
Well, we know that a lot about the Nigerian police has been questionable when it comes to elections. But then we should still have confidence. Like I said before, see, they say he who pays the piper, they taste the tune. So if the president, gives a directive to the police hierarchy, that is what they will do. So as for saying that they will deal with. It is not the duty of the police to deal with. It is your duty to apprehend those that tries to scuttle the process, and let the justice, the laws of the country deal with them, decide how guilty or not they are. So yours is not to say I will deal, because dealing means a lot of things when it comes to Nigeria police. No, so it's not about you dealing. First and foremost, let's try and protect the integrity
Mm.
of the process. Then, if anybody contravenes the rules and regulations, arrest them and allow the court takes take his course. So I believe in them, because Nigeria police is an efficient body.
Mm.
If they truly want to work, they
They
have a
will.
way of carrying out their duty. That is just it.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts there, Mr. Williams Eru. Now, to these experts, we know quite a number of people have been clamoring restructuring, that restructuring is the only way out for what we are currently going through in Nigeria. And here we have some experts coming to say that only restructuring can save Nigeria. What's your take on this?
No, this is a topic that has been belabored, flogged and flogged and flogged. The reality is there, the indices are there, that there is a need for us to revisit the workings of this country. Look at the areas that are not working, and make genuine efforts to redress. So we cannot leave this structure the way it is presently. As you have seen, there are so much agitations springing up here and there, because people are aggrieved. People are not happy with the present setup of things, and the Nigerians have spoken, elites have spoken. So I would expect a president that was elected by the people
Mm.
to listen to the demands, the yearnings of Nigerians, and actually take some steps towards restructuring this country. That is the only way. That is the only way we are going to be able to salvage this country. If we continue in this light, we I'm not sure we will like where we are going to find ourselves. So as long as these bodies are coming up, Oduduwa is coming up, IPOB is there, middle betters are there, people are all around the country. You see people that are aggrieved
Mm.
speaking up. So they can't all be wrong. That is one thing. They can't all be wrong. They are all speaking virtually the same language. So they can't all be wrong. And we should not call them, unpatriotic, as the presidency said, a few days ago. We shouldn't call them. These are Nigerians. We all have a right to say, look, you are supposed to govern the entirety of this nation, and somehow the way you are going about it, or the way things are, we are not satisfied with the way things are. So let's sit down. That's even a family. When things are not going the way that they should go, you sit down as a family and you talk about it. Then you take some decisions. So the same thing in this nation, we need to sit down and we need to talk about things before we begin to regret not talking about it earlier.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Williams Eru. On your point that you made, takes me to this next story. Learn to listen to people's view, Autumn tells federal government. Benue State Governor Samuel Autumn has urged federal government to stop the attitude of dismissing calls by people and various groups for the restructuring of the country. In a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Teve Akase, and made available to newsmen in Makodi on Wednesday, Governor Autumn charged federal government not to see the call for restructuring and other views expressed by the people as unpatriotic outbursts. Now that takes me to the next story. Poor salaries expose Nigeria justice to temptation. That's coming from Senate. Poor remuneration package for Nigerian judges and justice has exposed them to corruption in the course of their duty, the Senate said on Wednesday. Lawmakers of the upper chambers said the situation has also made the bench vulnerable to tendencies that undermine their sacred duty in the dispensation of justice. Chairman Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, expressed this concern during the screening session of 8 justices nominated by President Muhammadu Buhari for approval. Bamidele, in his opening remarks, bemoaned the poor welfare packages given judicial officers and justice in the country. Poor salaries expose Nigeria justice to temptation. How true is
Well,
this?
is to an extent, yes, it is. It is true. If you pay anybody poorly, there is that tendency to seek, additional money elsewhere, naturally. But that is not just that is not the full problems that we have in the judiciary. There is this decadence, this moral bereavement that are somehow taking over that sector. See, sometimes it's not the authority you have
Mm.
has to be valued above all. You understand now? Now we want money, yes, we need to take care of our judges, but that is not enough for you to begin to go against the oath you took.
Yes, should it even be expected of judges, people like someone like a judge?
You see, like people will say, a judge after God, you have a judge,
Yeah.
because the life of an individual, his freedom or the lack of it, is on the palm of a judge.
Mm.
So that excuse that perhaps because of a poor salary, when we are saying poor, how much exactly is poor? How much we do not know exactly the salary scale of a judge, but it cannot be that poor that you won't be able to live a level of a comfortable life. It's because some of these days, affluence has taken over the country. That is why these kind of excuses, are valid, because we've had judges in this country,
Mm.
that we are perhaps paid far less, but they were still able to stand on their oath,
Mm.
because their authority they have, to a great extent, towards above that their remuneration. So I hope that they will be better paid, but at the same time, they have to also do their part. Would they be able, now that they have somehow allowed their tongue to dip into this affluence, would they be able to put themselves out of it, even if they are paid no better than how they are being paid now?
Mm.
That is a question that perhaps will be left for them to answer.
All right, thank you very much for your thoughts there. Moving ahead with stories, reps to amend constitution to halt police brutality. The House of Representatives on Wednesday unveiled plans to amend the 1999 constitution and extant Nigeria police legislations with the view of ensuring judicial review of police actions as enshrined and protected by the Constitution. The resolution was passed sequel to the adoption of a motion on the need to put a stop to the human rights abuses by the Special Anti Robbery Squad, SAS, of the Nigeria Police, sponsored by the Majority Leader, Honorable Ado Dogua. Still talking SARS, Senate probes human rights abuses. Lawan warns against scrapping of units. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, on Tuesday took on the Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Mwajuba. Okay, this is another story, but this is another story under a different headline. Sorry about that. The Senate on Wednesday mandated its Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to investigate human rights abuses by Nigerian security agencies. It also tasked the same committee to investigate allegations of extrajudicial executions by the Special Anti Robbery Squad, SAS, as well as other security agencies, and make recommendations for, for reparation. The resolutions, among others, were sequel to disclosure of several killings by SARS by the senator representing Lagos Central, Oluremi Tinubu, on the floor of the Senate. Police Commission rolls out platforms to lodge complaints. The Police Service Commission, PSC, on Wednesday vowed that it will henceforth monitor closely the activities of operatives attached to the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad, FSAS, and other tactical units of the Nigeria Police Force, NPF, and sanction deviants who might want to continue in their old habits. All of this drama as regards SARS, we've been quite a number of time people have been agitating end SARS, no more SARS, as a result of what Nigerians go through in the hands of SARS. What have you got to say to this? Now, Senate is here saying probe human rights abuses. Some people are here saying scrap SARS, let's end SARS. Oh no, we don't want to end SARS. What have you got to say as regards
First,
SARS?
let's just say this: these agitations or these cries, they have gone beyond the simple allegations.
Okay.
We have, thank God for this era of internet. We have videos that are surfacing of the brutality of Nigerians. So it is beyond allegation. Now, we, on the other hand, we cannot completely scrap SARS because the job they are doing is very, very vital. But what we are saying is this: the job does not entail that they brutalize Nigerians, they harass Nigerians. There has to be a mode of operation that they must follow. And that mode of operation, human rights protection, must be at the fore of that mode of operation. You are not supposed, as a special anti-robbery squad, you are not supposed to be, in every nook and cranny. You are supposed, in my own view, when the regular police have assessed a situation, then if they see that this situation is beyond what we can handle, you are called in specially to come and handle that situation, because that is what you have been trained to do. And having done that, you return back to inactive status. That is how it should be. These days, we see SARS operatives being used to settle domestic squabbles. We've gone as far as using soldiers to seek redress domestically. These are abuses. So we are not saying they should scrap SARS. No, 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 no. But it has to be reformed in such a way that it means up to normal standards, how they should operate. How the reason why they were brought into being in the first place is not to harass Nigerians or to stop somebody and just say you look like a Yahoo boy. You look like is not a crime. It's not written in the law that you look like is a crime.
That a certain look is for the Yahoo
No,
boy.
so that is an abuse of human rights. If you have proof, then you can begin to pursue that. Not that you look like or you drive a certain car, then you must be stopped and searched. So SARS police hierarchy must look at SARS very carefully and look at how to make it work. In other countries, they have these specialized arms of police. They have the SARS, they have the SWAT in America. When situation is a bit dire, they bring them in. They come, they effect, they bring something to that situation. Then they retreat a footstep. That's how it should be. So the same thing with SARS. If the SARS is reformed the way it ought to be reformed, then they will be as effective as we want them to be. Right now, it is almost as if those bad eggs, they are making a nuisance of the squad, and it's not proper. So those also, as we are calling on them, and as they're also giving us some contacts to reach them with, they that are among that body, they also must do their own part. Some of them, in this thing we're talking about, it's not just one, maybe one SARS operative that will be involved. Sometimes you see 4, 5, 6 doing the same thing. So it doesn't mean one amongst them cannot say, look, we cannot abuse the right of this person like this. We are supposed to serve them. So if they have contravened the law, our duty is to shoot them on sight, because you are not judge, jury, and executioner. Your duty is to arrest them and let the court take its course. So these things must be done. And if it is done, I'm sure the effectiveness of SARS won't be questioned.
All right, 29 minutes before 8 from the studios of Pensioners 106.7 FM. And this is the point when we open our phone lines and let your wonderful listener be a part of Newsreel this morning. You can do that on 0908 111 1067, 0908 111 1067, and 0808 010 1067, 0808 010 1067. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you calling from.
From Apete Ibadan.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning. Well done for the work.
Good morning, sir.
Uh, I want to take my own view on the issue of scrapping SARS. I think scrapping SARS is not the solution to that problem. I suggest that the kind people they employ to that section, they should be properly screened. And after screening, they should go on a rotation. That's the best way to do it. Then regarding to the issue of poor salary to judges that
Judges.
attribute to them to not them to temptation.
Mm.
I don't believe that is it. What about senators? Most of the people in high position that earn these salaries have not been exposed. Have they not been exposed to temptation of corruption? That is my question. So that is not the issue. What about teachers who are poorly paid and other organizations? Have they been exposed to temptation? There is rotting in the judiciary, in police, even just like police and other organizations. Customs, soldiers, even if they pay the 1 million, they will still involve in temptation of corruption. The corruption is a product of greed. It's a product of greed from top bottom approach to the bottom top approach. They're all involved. I think that's the legacy the colonial masters left for us and is operating today. But it is unfortunate some political leaders, that political leaders and presidents in this country, they have institutionalized it. That is why corruption is everywhere. Even the child of today, if he's crying, you say, don't cry, you not listen to it. As soon as you put hand inside your pocket and give him or her 20 naira, you stop crying. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you too, Mr. Silver. Thank you so much for your contribution. Don't forget that you can be a part of Newsreel this morning when you phone in on 0908 111 1067, 0908 111 1067, and 0808 010 1067, 0808 010 1067. Moving ahead with stories, I have this. FEC approves $3.02 billion Port Harcourt Maiduguri Railway Project. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has given the go ahead for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the Port Harcourt Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway Project at the cost of $3.02 billion.
Well, it is a infrastructure, and if they are able to follow it up the way they've planned it, is okay. But then I think for me, it is there are other things that perhaps are calling for attention in that area. I saw a post yesterday on Facebook. I was I was trying to explain a few things. He said the three major federal roads leading towards that Port Harcourt uh, cross river and the rest, they are at a very bad state. Now we have not done anything on how to revitalize those roads. Now we are focusing on
Rail.
rail. Is it only railway that we need in this country?
Mm.
It seems as if we are at the season of a railway in this country. Every corner, whatever you hear from the presidency, is
Yeah.
about railway. What a,
Abuja to Kaduna,
no,
Lagos to
so
Ibadan.
it's not a this country just not just about railway. There are other things that needs to be done. But this president and the presidency has their priorities, and as we have learned as Nigerians, as long as they have set in place their priorities, there's very little we can say to change their mind. But if they decide to do it, it, it should not be we just start, then halfway they drop the project and they we just forget about it. So if they as they have made their decision, they should follow through with it. So let's not talk about the cost now. I'm sure that cost is inflated, but let's not talk about that now. As if you are able to conceive of the project, start it, then make sure it is finished. Perhaps it will serve a portion of this country. But we have to bring ourselves back to that discussion of restructuring. All this we are doing, we are just trying to hold back the inevitable. So I hope sincerely that they will they will look into this issue of restructuring. That is how this country can move forward.
All right. 0908 and 0808 Those are the numbers to call. We have a caller here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you calling from?
Once again, it's Mr. Silva from Akpete Ibadan.
Okay, let's have you.
Please, I want to ask the analyst here, Mr. Williams. Please, can you tell why is it that the people at the corridor of power are not adhering to the cause to restructuring? What is the rationale behind it? That's my question, please.
Uh, that is the question we are all asking, really. That they are not willing to see the need for a change of approach, a restructuring of this country. Perhaps a lot of them that are trying to shy away from it, they are gaining or they are enjoying the system the way it is. Because if you are not gaining from something, you won't stand against doing it a different way. They are gaining from it, but what they are not considering is the fact that whatever they believe they are gaining, if they allow things to remain like this, they are going to lose far, far more than what they believe they've gained. So I would advise them, whatever you think you are gaining, just look at this country and ask yourself, as you see, to be called a leader is to assume a responsibility. So that's one thing I don't understand about these are so-called quote unquote leaders. They do not assume responsibility. If you are a person that sleeps in the night and you think about this country, in the morning when you wake up, you have a different view of the country. So I don't understand why they can't be honest to themselves, honest to their own children. They may believe that right now we are in a position and making enough money. Your children may not be able to apply the same path you followed, and they have to face a new reality because you refuse to do what you ought to do when you were there. Your children will come and face the consequence.
Definitely.
There's always a way we pay for these things. So I will appeal to them. We have looked at Nigeria as it is now is not tenable. Even a blind man, a deaf person, can hear the cries. A blind man can even see what is going on in this country. That the way things are presently, it is not tenable. Let's look at it honestly. Honestly, Nigeria. There was a point in the history of this country where Nigeria worked. This country worked at a point. So we're not saying something that is novel. Let's just simply take a step back to when it worked and go and start from there. And that is restructuring. If we fail to do that, God help us.
God help Nigeria. Amen. Moving ahead, 2021 budget. Amid protests, Senate approves 4.28 trillion naira loan for Buhari. Loan again.
You see, when they took the last one for the railway, the Minister of Transportation, Mechi, he said they are still going to take more. So I don't know. You see, the problem is this. The issue is not really about taking these loans. It is making and so-called empowered in this country. They take these loans, somehow we do not see the effect of these loans. Now, this one is, let's not also forget the Senate President Ahmed Lawa said whatever the president brings before him is right. So he will approve. That doesn't matter. See, what now said earlier, doesn't matter what Nigerians are saying. As long as the president has said, look, I want to do this, that is what the Senate and the House of Rep will follow. So it has been approved. What for? It's not to explain so much about Nigerians why they are taking these loans. They just take it and say, look, we've taken the loan on your behalf. That's all. So I don't know what to say about these loans. But if they are taken and they're used for the purpose they are taking, then it's okay. But if not, they are tying us more to loans and debt we ought not to be tied to.
All right, Mr. Iruk, before we go this morning, I beg your reaction on this headline. Bulk of education budget spent on public varsities, 10,000
Sorry.
Excuse me. 10,500 profs, federal government. What have you got to say to this?
I think all these are just mm, uh, tactics to look for a way to smear the profs or smear the ASU members, so as to give themselves justification. Now, whatever universities are to be funded. They are public universities, and they are under you are supposed to be the ones funding universities. So you don't come and be complaining that you are spending such and such money for universities. They are supposed to be funded. Now, the question I want to ask is this: if this monies that you are releasing to universities, are they in the first place being released? And if they are, what they were supposed to do, are they doing these things? Now, if you release this money as a government, you also have a way of monitoring how this money is spent. So if you refuse to do your own part as a government, then you are the one that is enabling, this corruption in that place. So the complaints and this and that. Why is it that now these things are coming out? Because ASU and the rest are saying they are going on strike. So we must do what we ought to do. Government must stop making excuses for itself.
0908-1111-067, Before we go, I beg a reaction on this. Customs nabbed Dubai bound passenger carrying 5,342 ATM cards in Kano. And according to the story, it can be assumed that the suspect can withdraw up to $1 million in a day at the detriment of the national economy.
Which bank gave the suspect this ATM card? So you have to process these cards. So which are these banks that gave the man these cards? So when you talk about the man himself, you have to talk about the institution that enabled such a behavior. So, and of course, it is linked to fraud. You cannot have more than 10 or 20 ATM card and say it's not linked to fraud. And in the first place, it is against the law. So as we are talking about this man, or perhaps trying to punish him, let's as well look at the institution that allows such a thing to happen. That's the way we can look for. We can at least stop this kind of shenanigans. Otherwise, because these institutions, most of them, they aid this corruption, this fraud that's going on in this country.
All right, this is how much we can take of Newsreel this beautiful Thursday morning. Sincere appreciation to you, Mr. Williams Eru, for letting out your thoughts this
Thank you
morning.
very much.
And we also appreciate Mr. Silva, who called in all the way from Akpete. Tomorrow is another day when you join our teammates on Newsreel. My name is Balqis Ishola Taiwo. Enjoy your day.
From the rising to the setting of the sun, here is the first labor radio in Africa.